It is the morning after the election, but it is not over. You are going to see incredible time, attention, and money coming into Georgia in the next 4 weeks. The Senate race between Senator Raphael Warnock and challenger Herschel Walker likely heading to a runoff. 11 Live political analyst and Emory political science professor Dr. Andrea Gillespie joins us. So as we dissect these overnight numbers, one thing's clear: we have a split ticket dynamic here. Voters who went Kemp-Warnock. Andrea, any surprise that it wasn't enough for that 50% plus one for Warnock to avoid a runoff?
No, the public opinion data, the polls suggested that this was a very likely possibility. So we knew it was going to be a close race, and we also knew that it was very likely that neither candidate was going to get above 50% because they weren't necessarily polling that way if we look at all of the surveys.
All right, so right now Warnock is up by about 35,000 votes. He, of course, won this seat in a special runoff with Kelly Loeffler in 2021. This time around, who do you think has the advantage between Warnock and Walker with these additional 4 weeks to campaign?
I'm not sure that there's a clear advantage. I mean, I think a big question will be, where will the Chase Oliver voters go? Will they go to Warnock? Will they go to Walker? Will they sit out the contest? The other issue that is at play here is voter turnout. And so which side actually does the best job getting their people to turn out to vote again will be the one that wins. What I want to prepare Georgians for is that this is going to look a lot more like 2021, perhaps minus Donald Trump telling people not to vote, and a lot less like 2008, where Democrats largely didn't show back up for the Senate runoff in that particular election, and Saxby Chambliss was able to win pretty handily. So I expect that all hands are going to be on deck. All eyes are going to be on Georgia, more than likely, as we are still looking at a pretty evenly divided U.S. Senate. And so I expect a lot of resources to come in. And so nobody is going to take anything for granted. And you're going to see campaign ads during your Thanksgiving dinner.
A lot of them. You know, this dynamic, this split ticket dynamic with Warnock and Kemp, does it reinforce Georgia as a swing state, a purple state?
I would actually look at the narrow margins to say that that is evidence of Georgia being competitive, and Democrats actually being able to credibly compete for some seats given the right conditions. The split tickets, I think, are a larger reflection of Herschel Walker's weaknesses as a candidate. So he was a novice candidate who had a lot of personal baggage. And the big question was, would enough Republican-leaning voters be turned off by that and be unwilling to, vote for him in a general election? I think the big question is, do those same voters care enough about partisan control of the Senate that they might hold their nose and vote for Walker in a runoff election? That's going to be the big question.
We just have a few seconds left, but an interesting dynamic in our state house now. You have Governor Kemp, who never embraced the stolen election narrative, with Lieutenant Governor, who has embraced that fully, in fact, under criminal investigation for being a false elector. That's Burt Jones, of course.
One of the things that's going to be really interesting is to see the types of bills that get introduced and actually make their way through the Senate in this coming session. So Jeff Duncan, in many ways, was a stopgap between some extreme pieces of legislation. He's not going to be there. So I think the bigger question would be, one, can things actually get through both chambers? And then two, will Governor Kemp sometimes veto things that might actually even get passed by a Republican legislature?
All right. It will be interesting to watch, and we always appreciate your insight, Dr. Andrea Gillespie. Thanks so much.
Thank you.